Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It is Marvin speaking. We're going to go to the Chronicles Live, and they covered a lot about the Jay Slater case. And this is a article on an ex-detective says Jay Slater's disappearance should be treated as murder to preserve the evidence. Steve Gaskin, who was a detective chief inspector with the Metropolitan Police for more than 25 years, says things are not looking good for the 19-year-old who vanished in Tenerife last Monday. He goes on to say a retired top detective has said he would have treated missing teen Jay Slater as case a murder inquiry so vital evidence wasn't lost in the crucial first 24 hours. How many people said that the Airbnb should have been a crime scene? The people involved, basically that was with Jay last, should have been kept and questioned, I think, which didn't happen. Why were the Guardia Civil so sure that basically Jay apparently walked off from the Airbnb? And that is basically, they seemed, I think, to have evidence that Jay was there, but we don't know, to be honest, as the public, how much basically footage they've got actually Jay being at the Airbnb alive. And you know, that's the honest truth. Steve Gaskin was a detective chief inspector with the Metropolitan Police for more than 25 years and is a criminal psychologist. He has told the Mirror things are not looking good for the 19-year-old who vanished in Tenerife last Monday. He says that if he was the ICO senior investigating officer when Jay's missing person report came into the police, he would immediately have to decide to either treat it as a missing persons inquiry or a murder case. He added that if he wasn't sure, he'd always opt to treat it as a murder. Yeah, and this is how the case, I think it should have been treated from day one, because like I said, there were a lot of suspicion of the people involved with previous criminal records, and I think we gotta ask why it wasn't. Have the Guardia Civil got enough? And maybe that'll come out in their documentary, which will, I guess, prove our theories wrong. You know, sometimes we're going to get things wrong at the end of the day, but like I said, you've got to be able to be proven wrong, to say, look, I'm sorry, I put it out there, they were my thoughts, but now I know the truth. It's simple as that. Until then, we'll keep talking about it. Steve told the Mirror, if we treat this like murder from the outset and it turns out not to be, then nothing lost. We only have a few hours. People call it the golden hour, but really it's the golden 24 hours to gather forensic evidence before it's too late. And it had been told that forensics only went in there 2 weeks later. How come when they were talking to AUP, why wasn't that basically property searched, stripped and forensically tested? It doesn't make sense. I want to know what he had from breakfast. Why has a 19-year-old bricklayer gone missing? What was he doing there? I would want to know everything about him. Who was the last person to see him? Check all the backgrounds too. I'd be speaking to police in the UK. Has he got a criminal record here or Spain? What do we know about him? Reports the Mirror. Steve, a veteran of the Levi Belfield investigation, now operates the crime lab with his wife Kate Gaskin, a former detective. The couple drawing on Steve's extensive experience murder investigations cater for the public's fascination with true crime. Good stuff. They are not only a consult for TV shows like BBC Silent Witness, but also run various crime-related events, including discussions titled Inside the Mind of Lucy Letby, Why Children Kill and Have to Get Away with Murder. On the topic of Jay's mysterious vanishing, Steve remarked, there is a lot of speculations, but I just want to deal with facts. I want to know who did he speak to, who has reported it, what they said, and I want to know the background, all of these people too. Where is the CCTV? Have any of these people got criminal records? The whole idea of this is to get a clear factual picture, and I want it as quickly as possible. The longer this goes on, the more you're likely to suspect a criminal element. It's not looking good after this amount of time. He said it himself, where is the CCTV? That was crucial, and that is crucial in a lot of UK cases being resolved. Don't forget the mayor, basically in the Mascara area, said that basically he didn't want to release it, fair enough, to the public and obviously to news sources as well. Reflecting on a similar case of Jay's disappearance, Steve recounted how he managed to search for a 19-year-old who went missing in Battersea while he was at Second Yard, treating it as a potential murder from the start and demanding hourly updates. He concluded, "We had 4 detectives dedicated to it. It's a lot of resources. They were drawn other cases, but we found him." Jay Slater, hailing from Oswald Twistle, Lancashire, hasn't been seen since Monday on a popular holiday island. He was last spotted by an Airbnb property owner and is believed he missed his bus to catch up with friends in the south of the island, a region favoured by British tourists. Obviously, one of the big questions is why didn't anybody see him? The last known whereabouts of Jay have been traced to rural Del Tano, a rugged area in the western part of the island, the nearest settlement to Santiago del Tide. He's been residing in the south of the island in a flat with companions. Lucy May, one of his maids, informed police that she received a phone call from Jay at 8:30 a.m. His worrying message conveyed he was lost in the mountains. He wasn't aware of his surroundings. He desperately needed a drink and his phone was on 1%. And he could do all this with 1% and talk to Brad as well, video call Brad, and Brad could see the video pictures of rocks and pebbles and stuff. Yeah, really. Prior to the sudden disappearance, Jay had been engaging in conversation with friends via the social media platform should we say, as his phone then was on maybe 3% then. Snapchat appeared to be a normal and balanced mental state. His mobile ceased working around 8:50 a.m, the last reported location being near a hiking trail high above the quaint village of Masca. Steve shares his investigation strategy for situations like Jay. Surveys as homicide case straight away, assuming Jay's case as a murder from the beginning can facilitate immediate resources to investigate, ensuring no critical evidence is overlooked. Acquire CCTV footage, which I said it was always crucial because that would have given us a timeline, and compile forensic evidence from the place Jay was last seen. Find out everything associated with Jay, his identity, reasons for visiting, his activities, very, very crucial, in the UK, whether he had criminal history here in Spain or in the UK. Identify who were the last people to see or interact with him. What do they know? Who they are? Do they have reasons to say what they are saying? Can their versions of events be verified with CCTV, phone records or forensic evidence? Don't forget, MWT says he has some phone records of the people he was talking to, so that would be interesting to see whether that will come out in the documentary, his documentary. Fly a family member from the UK to Tenerife to help us gather more information about Jay. Recruit additional resources. A team of dedicated detectives on the case provided hourly updates on their findings. Air reconnaissance, drones and ground search teams. Forensic searches in both Tenerife and the UK. In addition to the conducting of forensic investigation as Jay's accommodation, we would also need to examine his home and workplace in the UK for any clues as to why he disappeared. This is very, very professional. Apply to the British Court for access to Jay's phone records. These records could be vital, potentially allowing us to triangulate his location and reveal who he was in contact with in the weeks, days and hours before his disappearance. I wonder whether they can still do that now, and I'm wondering whether the Spanish Civil Guard did that as well. I think it's kind of crucial. The intensity of the investigation needs to be increased, as the longer it goes on, the less likely positive outcomes becomes. That was it. That was absolutely, I thought that was really, really good information from the Chronicle Live. And it's funny because, like I said, Ali Harris used a lot of her information, which this were always, the Chronicles were always on the case, and she was actually talking to some reporters, well, emailing, talking to some reporters on it. So Steve Gaskin, that was his thought on the case, and do look into the Chronicles because they've got some really, really decent stuff on the case, People's The Chronicle Live. And this was published on the 24th of June 2024. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment. We're going to continue to talk about the case and get justice for Jay Slater. Thank you very much indeed, people.